folks. My name is Rich Rose, working on my Hella V here. I am no one famous, but I am working on a 2014 to 2016 Cadillac CTS. This video centers around updating the rear panel, the rear console for the rear seat passengers to add USB plugs in place of where early models had a felt-lined ashtray and a 12-volt power port. So here you can see the 2017 or 18 console on the left-hand side from a premium model. It includes the climate control system, as well as the USB plugs on the bottom on the fixed panel. On the right-hand side, you see the original panel from my 2014 V Sport Standard. It has a felt-lined ashtray, a 12-volt power port, and the open pocket because my model did not come with rear seat heaters and the rear electronic climate control. We're going to be swapping out the lower portion that has the fixed USBs for my felt-lined ashtray. It's a cleaner look, and I just like it a lot more. I also wanted to add the rear climate control panel to my car. However, mine is a standard model that didn't have that option from the factory. Therefore, the wiring nor the harness was there and integrated into the dashboard in the front to be able to use this feature. My car also didn't have rear seat heating elements installed from the factory. Even if I had all of those items, I think programming this would be a monumental task, and I just decided to avoid it. I wanted this to look like an original equipment installation as best as possible. The most difficult part electrically of this swap wasn't particularly advanced at all. You see the plug here on the original unit from the 2014 with the felt-lined ashtray and 12-volt lighter style power plug. It was very different than the kind of plug you see in the newer models. So I had to go to the pigtail that came in the wiring harness from the vehicle, from my vehicle, find out which ones were the positive and negative, adapt that over, and determine what was the positive and negative for the new system so that my USB power plugs would work. I tested the positive and negative on the new unit by making a little adapter to a 9-volt battery and then plugging it in to a USB cable connected to my iPhone to make sure that it in fact charged the phone. Be careful if you attempt this method. Those 9-volt batteries get really hot when they're being discharged so heavily. I could have absolutely just used the 12-volt wiring from the car and done this, but it was kind of a cold night and I didn't want to be freezing my fingers anymore. So I came inside with the 9-volt. Once you've adapted the factory wiring harness to the pigtail that comes on the updated, newer USB panel down below, you need to turn your attention to actually installing the physical panel in the rear console. This uses 4 simple Torx screws. Turning the units over, you can see where I've already removed the 2 on the left and the 2 on the right. If you look up above under the factory electronic climate control from the newer models or premium models, you can see the screws are installed. Guys, this is the easiest part of the whole thing. Alright, well this was a little difficult. Thank you for guitar classes all that time ago. But you can see there's 1, 2, 3 leads in a T shape on that plug. And this is the positive over here on the far left side. Which is good to know using my trusty multimeter because in this particular instance, both of the wires appear to be completely purple. There's no stripe or line letting you know which one's the negative. Okay, it's nighttime and I'm trying to film the final result. It's a little bit difficult, but as you can see here, let me zoom out. There we go. As you can see, I have my new panel with the USB 12-volt portion down here below. And you can see where I masterfully cut and soldered the modern cable from the USB connector into the original part of the harness from the vehicle. It's pretty straightforward. On this clip, on this side anyway, the more modern clip, the black wire was in fact the negative. So the difficult part again was figuring out which one of those 2 positives, the 2 identical purples with no stripes or other identifiable markings, was the wire that in fact carried the 12-volt signal before. But once that's done, that was it. It was really pretty straightforward. This goes in here, and there are a variety of other GM adapters, plugs, or units, whatever you wish to call these, that are shaped a lot like this, including the ones that we find inside of our center console. Now this one just has the two USBs and it's used for power, and you can see it's just got the plug. A lot of other ones, you'll see a USB-B mini plug on the back of it. Now that's used in the vehicle to connect to other systems. Now in the back of this car, that's not something that's available. However, the one inside the glove box, it is. And on some GM models, there's even two USB plugs on the back. And that's presumably for newer models that have even more electronic gizmos and wizardry available. Those do allow what you connect to the plug to work with the factory infotainment system, Q, or whatever word you like to call it when you're mad at it. But in the meantime, as far as this car is concerned, click, snap it in, and this job is done. Well, once I get all that right. Voila. Here is an example of another plug from another GM model, along with some part numbers at the bottom that I found on eBay. It has a USB-A, a USB-C, and an SD card slot. I do not know the intercompatibility with all the GM models or our Q system, but give it a shot. Some of these are even less than the original USB twins that I put in. Well, there you have it. That's how I installed the USB plugs in the back of my 2014 CTS Standard. I think you can do it. If it's something you want to do, it's a fantastic idea. Just so it has been said, GM also has some of those plugs that have USB-C connectors for folks with newer models, newer Androids, and some other devices. I don't know what kind of power level they put out, but it does give you a little bit more adaptability and connectability, and that's a good thing. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, hit it in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share. I'm going to try and put out some more content. Thanks.